Hey, what's up YouTube? So I hope everyone has enjoyed the budget ore stacker guide. It was pretty fun to do it. I did end up selling the budget ore stacker for like 85 exalts, so I did make some profit in the meantime while putting all the gear together. And I saw in the comments how a lot of people asked about a map clear, and I apologize, I should have added a map clear for it, so I'll add it in this video in the highlights section. But for today's topic, I wanted to talk about a skill that has been long heralded as dead because they literally did the triple nerf approach. They nerfed the duration of the skill, they nerfed the damage of the skill, they nerfed the radius of the skill. They pretty much just wanted to wipe the skill off the planet. But people loved the skill. Like, it was a skill for the people. Like, quite literally, if you want to go look at PoE Ninja, let's go take a look at it. The skill of the people for the people. They just loved it. I mean, Blade Vortex, 17%, 14%. 31% of the people were playing Blade Vortex. And it was every type of Blade Vortex. It was the Cultist Blade Vortex with Self-Curse, the Assassin Herald of Ash Blade Vortex, the Cold Blade Vortex, Fire, Cold, and Self-Curse. Everyone loved it. Even the mana-based Blade Vortex. Everyone loved Blade Vortex. It was a beloved skill. 5.5 billion damage. Insane clear, but they killed the skill. I mean, that's what I thought too, right? But it appears that the skill is probably not that dead. The skill's single target is not that dead. The skill's clear is honestly not that dead. It's pretty good for Ultimatum, probably one of the best Inscribed Ultimatum runners I've made for Survive, and anything besides stone circles where I can run in a circle. I'll show some clips. And it appears that the skill has some potential, and I am looking forward to trying it out. So I'm going to show everyone the gear overview, some clips of the skill, and just get into how my RF is so big. Like, look how big this thing is. Okay, I can't turn it on anymore. What happened? I don't even know, but it's big. But let's get straight into the gear overview and let's see what I did to run Blade Vortex. So for the gear overview, everything is a little different for Blade Vortex. So we're still using our mirrored helmet. Now a lot of people ask, can I use something else besides the mirror helmet? And yes, you can. You can just use stuff that's not double elevated. And you might not have conk effect. In all honesty, conk effect kind of ruins the area of the skill. So I'm not sure how I feel about it, so maybe one day I can try out a helm without conk effect and just hypo Ellie and crit. In fact, that's a pretty good idea. Maybe I'll try that tomorrow, because conk effect is a really good damage multiplier, but the damage is kind of high already, so maybe we don't need that, and we can just slot in conk effect for bosses, and our map clear will be a lot better. That's actually a really good idea. Maybe that's what I need for the skill to feel truly good. See, that's good. When I make this video, I actually come up with ideas too. So here we have the amulet. I recrafted the ES for area of effect and area damage. So right now we've gone back to an area stacker. So we're trying to stack area as much as possible. So the whole name of the game is to scale our explode and Herald of Ash explosions. So we still have the same Grace Prism Guardian. We have the Hatred Call of the Brotherhood and fire damage to spells Call of the Brotherhood. And then I should really get a new enchant. I don't need the mana regen anymore, but I kind of am just over lab at this moment. But I will go do it probably. Headhunter, I have a % ES one. I actually got this yesterday. But I think I will be trading it in for area of effect with Arcane Surge one. And also skill effect duration is super good, so I also might look into getting one of those. But basically, I think I need another Headhunter, and it's like the 4th day in a row where I've gotten a different one because I've been playing a different build all the time. Now for Asenath, these I feel like are mandatory for all the chains of the explosions, and it's still Empower, Righteous Fire, Phantasmal Smite, Discipline. And Nebulous, still the same one, double damage Nebulous. I should probably divine it so the cast speed's a little better, but for now it will do, right? So now the magic is always in the tree. The cluster jewels are what enables the build. So you can see here, these aren't cluster jewels for Aura Stacker, like Aura effectiveness, right? So we're using Magnifier and Vast Power. I was lucky to pick this up for like 5 exalts, and it's just an RMR. So magnifier gives us like 10% area and 10% crit multi, and vast power gives us, what's it called, 3% area of effect per power charge up to a maximum of 50%. So basically you stack a few of these, and then I think we're running 3 power charges, so 9% for each one of these nodes. So it's like 10%, so like 20% area for each one of these clusters. So we have 1, 2, 3 of them. This one's a pen one. So then here we have another one here. So we're running 4 of these magnifier vast powers for insane area. I don't really know if there's a better setup. I will probably drop one of these for an unnerve one, because unnerve is actually pretty good. Or I might just use more aura effect. It's hard to say. Like, the thing about this build now is we're very flexible. Like, we can pretty much play any skill in the game because we have 4 clusters that we can adopt to any skill. And 4 clusters is more than what most people can do. So I feel like this is a pretty big step in terms of the build, because aura effect is really good and all, but after 300%, you have to sacrifice a lot to get a more aura effect. Or not sacrifice a lot, but it has like it's not like it scales as crazily as before. Like, yeah, getting 400% is really good to get more survivability and physical damage reduction. But a lot of times, these clusters are so OP that they're completely game breaking, right? And for the Penance Brand build, for instance, you can't play brand builds without the brand clusters. And I really feel the same way with Blade Vortex. You can't play area of effect scaling builds without a lot of area of effect stacking. I mean, obviously you can, but it won't feel as good. So basically, we will scale the area of effect as much as possible. Unnatural Instinct is here, and this gives us our 45%. This is the same thing we did with Winter Orb. It also gives us 20% effect skill duration. It's like super, super strong. So these nodes down here. So we're going to try to get more skill effect duration. We might run Malevolence. It would feel a lot better for mapping. And we are also running this cluster here now for more area of effect. So we actually have a lot of area of effect on the tree. So it ends up being around, I think, 250 to 300%, which is not too shabby at all. And the problem with Fizz skills compared to Penance Brand is the fact that you can't use multi for lightning or multi with elemental. So we're stuck with using global crit multi and multi for spells. So this means that I use this jewel here because I actually have extra RMR. So here's another one, but this one I need the strength and percent mana. And then I got another one. So you want area of effect and reduce reservation of skills if you want to try to play this and completely min-max the build. Because if you think about it, like min-maxing, like you add up a lot of these, like 2 of these implicits are literally equal to 1 of this node that we're trying to stack, 10% and 10% multi. So you can see how important it is to be able to pick this up. So I have a lot of these 5% area of effect with 1% reduced skill reservation. So it's pretty important to hit both of those. Now, another thing we have here of note is the fact that, where is it? Oh yeah, I swapped out my large cluster to get Prismatic Heart Widespread Destruction. Widespread Destruction is actually quite nerfed. It's actually 6% area of effect. And I also think Vast Power was nerfed before because they didn't want us to get too much area. But basically, the last thing of note is that my Ascendancy choice is no longer a Necromancer. Necromancer doesn't really benefit us because we don't get attack and cast speed. That actually makes it so that aura stacking is a little less important to reach the 100% breakpoints because we don't get the extra attack and cast speed for our auras. So we're a Saboteur instead. Now I chose Saboteur because it gives you area of effect and it gives you pen, and it also blinds the enemies on hit when you hit with the Blade Vortex. And kind of important is that you regenerate 2% of life per second. So when you can see that the regen is at, wait, let me turn on everything. So you can see the regen is at 820. So when you throw the mines and chain it, it goes all the way up to like 1161, and that's a pretty big deal, right? So overall, I feel like the Ascendancy is very, very strong, and that's why I chose it. And while this guy wanted to trade me, let's see if he will actually do it. But basically, that's the basic gear breakdown to build, and I'll showcase some map. I'll actually do a map with some commentary about it because I kind of want to talk about why this build performs the way it does. And actually, I was really surprised about how smooth the playstyle is. I'm not sure how much more I'll invest into it. I mean, right now it's already pretty invested into. As you can see, I have some pretty good stuff, but there's always going to be some more tech. I kind of want to get a power charge There is like a tech where you could potentially drop this and get assassin, but I don't know if it's actually worth the, because this is actually a really good node, I think. Very underrated, but maybe there's something else that's pretty good too, but we'll see. But anyhow, let's go move on to the map gameplay. I'll showcase. So here I'll showcase a quick Maze of the Minotaur map. I feel like Maze of the Minotaur map is honestly like an insane map for a Blade Vortex. Literally like this thing takes up the entire screen, right? Obviously I'm skipping the ritual, but I just want to get real fast to the boss just to show it. But yeah, this build is pretty good for Inscribed Ultimatums, but you can see like everything just dies. And I mean, is this really that much different than the old 3.13? I mean, I didn't really play the Blade Vortex back in the day. I mean, this is pretty much the ideal map for this scenario.
One loss is nothing to be ashamed of.
But yeah, this is with a headhunter though, so I mean the cleric should be somewhat comparable. And this is what most people wonder, right? How is the actual like DPS of the boss? And it turns out the damage is pretty good. So there's a quick mapping showcase. Very, very fast mapping build. And I would dare say it's probably faster on average than Penance Brand on straightforward maps, just because you don't need to actually cast anything and you can just run through. Kind of very similar to Winter Orb, but with a huge radius and like explode with the Asnet's gloves. But hopefully that should showcase like how this build's mapping is. And I'll also include a feared video. I did complete all content with this build. The fear, it was actually surprising how good the single target is. I mean, the single target I think is like 800k tooltip with everything up. It's pretty respectable, so very surprising, honestly, because I always thought that Blade Vortex would have like pretty bad single target, but it's definitely good enough for all content, as I will showcase. And it's also a blast to play Inscribed Ultimatum, so I just wanted to show how it feels like to just run around in circles. It's like you're playing NASCAR or something and just driving around in circles. And also, I will have the clip of the map clear of the Penance Brand with the budget gear. I also did a Maze of the Minotaur, I think, yesterday. But hope everyone enjoys the clips, and it's kind of exciting to see how Blade Vortex may be a really good skill and option for us aura stackers.
You are nothing.
I am
Everlasting fire.
Yeah, fear is not good for. We just need to cut out the beginning part. Yeah, who needs? What? Whoa! Why is he not dead? It looks very unethical, yeah. Anyhow, I hope everyone enjoyed the video clips. I was also able to do 100% Deletion map on this build, and it was honestly fine. The damage was not as high as Penance Brands for like some of the super tanky stuff at when it's like 12 layers, but it was able to do it. But in the end, it was really laggy, but I think that's just how 100% Deletion maps are. So for the conclusion I have for Blade Vortex is that it needs to be more testing done. I'm going to optimize the setup, but I still believe that Penance Brand is the best budget option. You can't beat how it's a physical skill with lightning. And like the big difference to that is that my multi is terrible on Blade Vortex because it's a physical skill only. I only have 326%. But I guess the RMR jewels are a lot cheaper for optimized because you can't really get double multi. I guess you could get multi for spells and global multi, but that would be really expensive. But if I was to optimize the build, that's what I would do. I'd go for multi and multi per spells for double multi RMR, but that's just a different type of setup for the multi jewels. But very pleased and surprised. I think I will level to 100 with Blade Vortex because it's more of an enjoyable playstyle for me in mapping, because it's obviously a lot more enjoyable to just run through everything and see a lot of chain explosions. I know a lot of people loved Blade Vortex, like I mentioned at the start of the video, and it's a very fun playstyle, and I highly recommend people, if you have currency, to try this out. But obviously, if you're still at a budget level, I would not recommend this at the moment. Maybe I can find a budget solution for this for people who like playing Blade Vortex, but also like a more survivability with the Aura Stacker. But we'll see. I also want to try out more maps without the head on a belt, but it's kind of hard to take off the belt. Like, look what happens when I take off my poor belt. 52 strength required, 41 dex required. So I'll probably craft a belt with some strength and dex on it with some essences. But anyhow, everyone, thanks for watching. It was a pleasure sharing this new experiment with you. I know that it seems like I'm changing the builds all the time, but honestly, it's because this build is so versatile and people like to see different things. Like, I'm sure no one wants to see like Spark for 2 weeks straight, right? You want to see some different cool build ideas, and I do want to try to bring more budget guides out and more budget builds, or try to do content on like more budget stuff, because I do know that the majority of people watching do not have like a one passive voices and stuff like this and a mirrored helmet. But we'll see. I am going to try out a different helmet though, but anyhow, everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And I stream every day on Twitch, so make sure to catch me there if you want to see some live action experimentation. And thanks for watching, and I hope you find more headhunters than I do. And see ya.